Most people decide they can't afford a house using the wrong math. They look at the price, they guess the payment, and then they quit before they even understand it. But that isn't mortgage math. That's not even math. That's just guessing, right? And that one mistake is why a lot of good buyers never even try. I talk to cops, firefighters, nurses, and working class families who say the same thing all the time. Hey, Malcolm, I make decent money, but there's no way I can afford a house. Not because they actually ran the numbers, but because nobody ever showed them how a mortgage really works. So in this video, I'm going to walk you through three main things. One, what is your payment actually made of? Two, what most people calculate wrong. And three, how to look at affordability in a way that actually makes sense. In this video will be no hype, no sales, just real numbers explained to you like never before. Before we talk about whether something is affordable, we need to talk about what a mortgage payment is actually, right? Most people think it's just one number, but it's not. Your monthly mortgage housing payment is made up of four separate pieces. I'm going to explain each one like you've never bought a house before. So if you bought a house before, bear with me. Principal is simply the money you borrowed from the bank. If a house costs 500,000 and you put down your down payment is 2500,000, 2500,000, $25,000. You didn't borrow 500,000. You borrowed the rest. So the house price is $500,000. Your down payment is $25,000. The money you borrowed from the bank now is $475,000. That 475, that 475,000 is your principal. Every month, part of your payment goes towards paying that number down. That's how you slowly start owning more of the house. Interest is what the bank charges you for letting you use their money. Think of it like this: you didn't have $475,000 in cash, so the bank loaned it to you. And because the bank loaned it to you, they said, hey, I'm going to charge you a fee. That fee is your interest rate at 7% in this example. That means you're paying about 7% per year on the money you still owe. So principal equals the money you borrowed, interest equals the fee for borrowing it. Together, we have what's called principal and interest. That's actually your loan payment now. Let's use a real example. The home price or the purchase price is $500,000. Your down payment in this example is going to be 5%, which is $25,000. Your loan amount now is $475,000. Now, the loan length, which we typically do, is 30 years. So the length of time that you're going to be required or needed to pay this loan back. The interest rate is 7%. When you run that through the math, your loan payment comes out to about $3,160 per month. Now, that $3,160 covers paying the money, paying down the money you borrowed, your principal, plus the fee for borrowing it, the interest, but that's not your full housing payment because in this example, we use 5% down. There's something called PMI, which stands for Private Mortgage Insurance. Private Mortgage Insurance. Here's what that really means. If you don't put down 20%, the bank is taking a bigger risk on you. So they require a small insurance payment that protects them in case you ever default. Now, this does not mean you're being punished. You're just borrowing with less money up front. Let's use a realistic uh, let's use a realistic example. Let's use a realistic example. The loan amount is 475. Your PMI rate is about 0.8% per year. At 475 times 0.008, that equals $3,800 per year. Now we're going to divide that by 12, which is about $317 per month. So your PMI payment now is $317 per month, and that is going to protect the bank, not you, the bank. Now, this is important. PMI is not permanent. Once you build enough equity in the home, it can usually be removed on a conventional loan. But at the beginning, you must budget for it. Next, we have property taxes. Property taxes are money you pay to your city or your town for schools, roads, public services. Example, if your property taxes is $9,600 a year, divide that by 12, that's $800 per month. Then you have homeowners insurance. Homeowners insurance protects your house if there's a fire, a storm, or major damage. Now, at $1,800 per year, you divide that by 12, you get $150 per month. Now we add everything together. So we had $3,160 for the principal and interest. We have $317 for the PMI. We have $800 for your taxes and $150 for your homeowners insurance, which totals $4,427 per month. That's your real housing payment. In this example, hold on. That's your real housing payment in this example. That's your real housing payment in this example. Not the house price, not a guess, but the actual monthly numbers. And most people never see this breakdown. They just assume and talk themselves out before they understand the math. Here's what most buyers do instead of real math. My rent's about 2,400, so a mortgage must be about 3,200 or 3,500. Nah, I can't afford that. But that's not math. That's just guessing. We just walked through a real example where the payment came out to about $4,400 per month. Now, that might be too high for some people, and that's okay. But here's the mistake I see all the time: people don't actually focus on the payment. They focus on the purchase price and the interest rate. They say, rates are too high. I'll wait. I'll buy when rates drop. I just need a better rate, a better rate, a better rate, or a cheaper house, a cheaper house, cheaper house, too cheap. But here's the truth: most people don't realize you live in the payment, not the rate. You live in the payment, not the rate. Your bills don't care what interest rate you got. They only care about what leaves your bank account every month. Remember, you can change a rate later. You cannot change the price you paid for the house. If you buy a house at a price that fits your life, even with a higher interest rate, your payment might feel higher today, but when rates drop later, you will be able to refinance. I won't say might, you will be, especially if you work with me, but that's another story. And at a lower and the lower that payment, the better it is for you. But if you wait for a perfect rate and prices go up, now you're paying interest on a higher purchase price, and that higher price is locked in for a longer time period, 30 years mostly. So, what matters long term is, did I get the lowest interest rate? Not really. Or did I buy at the price and payment that fit my lifestyle? Don't chase rates, chase payments. Chase a payment that fits your real life, fits you right now, still allows you to go on vacation, still allows you to be you, go shopping, and do the things you like doing. If you like eating, you want a payment that fits that budget. Now, let's talk about how banks decide whether a payment works for you. They don't just ask, hey, can you afford this? Do you have some extra income coming in? No, they don't. They ask after all, I repeat that, after all of your other bills, can you still handle this payment every month? That's what they ask. And that's it. They look at how much money you make each month, how much money you already pay in bills, and whether the house payment fits on top of that. You don't need to memorize a formula. Just remember this: your house payment has to fit with the rest of your life. Simple. Let me break it down for you. Let's say you make $10,000 a month. before taxes. I'll repeat that, before taxes. So your gross, not your net. Your other bills are maybe you have a sorry, maybe you have a car note about $600 a month. Your credit cards total to 150, and you have student loan debt that's about another 250. So let's add that all together, and that's about $1,000 per month in bills. Most mortgage programs want your monthly bills, including the house, to stay under about 45% of your income. So 45% of 10,000 equals a monthly payment allowance of $4,500. So all of your bills together should stay under $4,500 a month. You already have $1,000 in other payments. So the house payments that have to fit inside of that in this situation should be about $3,500 because we just minus the 45 from the 1,000 and we get $4,500. Now, yeah. So 4,500 minus 1,000, which is your other bills, gives you about $3,500 a month. That's your real comfort zone. Not based on fear, not based on social media, but based on actual numbers. Let's bring it all together now. Earlier, we showed an example of you purchasing a monthly house at 500,000, working out the numbers, and we got $4,400 a month. For this person, that might be too much because we're showing you that your payment should be at 35. But that doesn't mean you can't buy a house. It means this payment doesn't fit your current situation. Sometimes paying off a small bill, increasing your down payment, or choosing a slightly lower home price can bring up that payment or find a payment that fits you without you needing to make more money or to go house broke. This is not luck. This is understanding the math, or as I like to call it, the mortgage math. A lot of people say, hey, I'm waiting for better interest rates. Oh, I'm going to repeat that. This is not luck. This is understanding the math, or like I like to say, the mortgage math. Now, I know a lot of people go, hey, I'm still waiting for better interest rates, Malcolm. Listen to me closely. I'll repeat this. You can change your Listen to me closely. You can change your interest rate later. You cannot change the price you paid for the house. When you buy the house, when you buy, the price is locked in forever. You bought at $600,000, you can't rebuy it later for $700,000 because you already bought it, unless you sell it and then you're coming back, which doesn't make sense. But I'm just going to repeat all that. When you buy the price, listen to me closely. You can change your interest rate later. You cannot change the price you paid for the house. When you buy, the price is locked in forever. The loan is something you can adjust in the future when rates improve, and it's simply called doing a refinance. You don't need to understand all of that right now or the details. Just remember this: if you buy at a price and the payment that fits your life now and rates go down later, you will be able to refinance and get yourself a lower payment. But if you wait for the perfect rate and prices go up while you're waiting, you're paying interest on a higher price forever until you get out of it. The simple way to think about it is like this: don't ask. The simple way of the simple way of thinking about it is this: don't ask, what should I wait for? Oh, I'm gonna repeat that. Don't ask, what rate should I wait for? Ask, what monthly payment works for my life right now? Because you budget around your payment, you build your life around the payment, you sleep at night based on the payment. Rates are just one piece of that. This isn't about rushing, it's about making decisions using real numbers, not headlines. Affordability is not what's the biggest house I can buy, it's what payment fits my real life. Just because a bank approves you for more doesn't mean you should take it. Smart buyers choose a payment they can handle comfortably. That's how you stay stable. That's how you build wealth. And that's how you actually enjoy owning a home. This hits especially hard for first responders, shift workers, my union workers, anyone working overtime or on variable income. You've probably been told that income doesn't always count. So you start telling yourself, I make good money, but I can't be a home buyer. I don't make home buyer money. But most people don't lose because they don't earn enough. They lose because nobody ever showed them how their income is evaluated, how their bills affect the numbers, or what options they actually have. The system wasn't built for you, and it hasn't been explained clearly until now. If this made you realize you've been guessing instead of calculating, the next step is simple. I want you to start learning how buyers afford homes without making more money. That's what I broke down in this video, and that's the next video you need to watch. You don't need hype, you don't need unnecessary hard explanations. You just need clear numbers and a real plan. You're not bad with money. You were just never shown how the math works. And once you understand it, everything changes. I'll see you over here.